Welcome back. So I've moved down here now, and I think it made sense for laying things out. But now the question is, who wins the heat? And once again, we're going to look at our graph in addition to using our equation. So on the graph, where would we look? Well, remember, the race is 20 meters long. The race is 20 meters long. 20 meters, long. And so I can kind of draw the finish line out here. Sorry, let me give me a second to sorry about that. I just needed to readjust my axes here. So here's kind of the finish line. And I'll draw it in rainbow because that's fun. Okay, there's the finish line. And so, well, of course, the person who wins is the winner. Whoever gets to 20 meters first, right? Well, okay, the question is, how do I see that on the graph? Well, if that's the case, remember, all that means is in the least amount of time. The least amount of time. Now remember, for us, we said time right here. You just point right there. Time is our independent variable, so it goes along the x-axis. And so the least amount of time would mean the smallest time, or the furthest to the left, because further to the left means less time. And so in this case, really where we're looking for the graph is the winner. Sorry about that. The winner is the person whose graph reaches. Now remember, we're looking, if distance is the y value, then this 20 meters is the y value. Reaches a y value of 20 meters first. Or with the smallest x value. And that would mean the smallest x value, just meaning is furthest to the left. Farthest to the left. And that visually is pretty clear to see, because we could take a look here at where everyone finishes. Leslie finishes right here. It looks like about, if I draw straight down here, about 10 seconds for Leslie. Let's write that a little bit neater. 10 seconds. For Evie, right here in green, it looks a little bit slower, maybe at 11 seconds. And for Kristen, way out here, I don't even know where Kristen is. Maybe, assuming I drew it correctly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So maybe about 24 seconds. So according to the graph, I would say Leslie wins, finishes the race in 10 seconds. So she would win because Evie, once again, Evie would be 11 seconds, and Kristen would be finish at 24 seconds. Now, once again, we could actually use our equation to actually answer this question. Using our equations here. And this one is actually nice because, again, we don't have to do any guessing. We just plug it in and evaluate it. So now, remember, our y value is equal to 20. And so this would be an instance of saying the output is 20. So for Leslie, L of x would equal 20. And now the question is, what is the time? We need to figure out what that is. Well, now we can just substitute in, and this is a little bit of practice with evaluating functions, inputs and outputs. This would be that 2x equals 20, and to get x, I'll divide by 2. So x equals, again, 10 seconds, just like we kind of predicted with our graph. We could do the same for for Kristen and Evie. Let's try to get all this to fit on one page here. For Evie, then, E of x would equal 5/4 x plus 6. Ooh, this one's going to be kind of tricky. So, oops, that has to equal 20. So I'll subtract 6 from both sides. And I'll get 5/4x equals 14. Okay, can I deal with this? Well, remember, some people have trouble dealing with fractions, and that's okay. But you could just break the fraction up. So if I multiply this by 4 on both sides, times 4 times 4, then hey, 4 divided by 4, that will cancel out. They'll undo each other to just make a big 1. That's why I gotta just now, That's why now I just have 5x equals, I think this would be 56. And if I divide everything by 5 now, then I'll get rid of that times 5, and we'll end up with x equals 56.5 seconds, which is actually, let's see, that should be something. I don't really care, but it's more than 10. We do know that it's bigger than 10 seconds. Okay? And so she is not finishing, she's not winning the race already. The last part here, Kristen. I'll have hers right here. K of x, which is 2/5 x plus 8 would equal 20. And now we need to see, we can subtract 8 just like for Evie. Cross that off. 2/5 x equals 12. I'll multiply by 5 again. And we'll get 2x equals 60. And so x equals 30 here. Oh, the reason I just realized now, the reason my graph was so far off was because over here, I counted six squares, but remember that my axes are going by 2s right here. So actually 6 more squares would be plus 12 from 30, so it'd be 30 seconds. Alrighty. Okay, so, I also did take this with a calculator, and this is 11.2 seconds. So our graph was very, very close, but again, this is why our graph is not always the best way. It's good to help get us a rough estimate of where things are, but if we want to get the most precise, we want to use our equations. Alrighty, so that is how we can use the graph and the table to figure out who wins the race. In the next video, we're going to talk one more thing about the slope, and that is actually telling the speed of the person as a unit rate. You might have heard that before, but we're going to jump into it in a second.